Sri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha. So, by Jagadguru, Sringeri Jagadguru's, Ubhay Jagadguru's grace and Sri Krishna Paramatma's grace, we are now getting into the 13th chapter, Trayodashodhyayaha, and also into the third triplet of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We have successfully completed two triplets, that is the first 6 chapters and the next 6 chapters being up to 12th chapter. I hope you all can hear me properly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can all hear me.
Yes, Babu Bhaiya, all good.
Okay. So thank you. So as we have seen the context of the whole Gita, the first 6 chapters were about the Jivatma, which is Tvam Padartham, that is the Jivatma, Tvam Padartham. Then the second six chapters, that is from the 7th chapter up to the 12th chapter, is the Tat Padartham. Tat here means that Tattvam, Ishvara Tattvam, or Paramatma Tattvam. So the Paramatma Tattvam we saw from the chapter 7, from the Jnana Vijnana Vibhaga Yoga up to the Bhakti Yoga. Now from the 13th chapter, from the 13th chapter, the last triplet will be focusing on Asi. Asi means that Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam. Meaning to say the consolidation of the pure Purna Jnanam, that having known the Atma Jnanam and the Ishvara Tattvam, and how this is all that single one Jnanam that is to be known for moksha. That is the essence of this 13th, this last triplet chapters, and the 13th chapter to 18th chapter also sways between different concepts in the Asi, in meaning to say suddenly it will go very deep into some tattvam, then you will have beautiful essence for doing the practical applications of the Gita Saram. So really, so it is, Bhagavan knows how he has assembled this whole teaching in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And so, for example, when we come to the 14th chapter, will be Gunatra Vibhaga Yoga. That's when we will know exactly how to handle this Triguna Maya, in which we are exactly pervading through, and to get over the Samsara Sagara. Then, for example, Shraddhatra Vibhaga Yoga, in the 17th chapter, he will talk about Ahara, Niyamana, everything. So, it varies. And whereas the 13th chapter, 15th chapter, and also in the 18th chapter, the Tattva will go very deep. And that is the one pattern you can see in Gita. Bhagavan straight away gets into the deep jnana. Like as you saw in chapter 12, chapter 2, right? As from that 11th shloka in in the 12th, in the 2nd chapter, Ashocha Narvashochastam. Straight away he imports that Atma Jnanam, and then he slowly got into Karma Yoga and everything. And so that's the beauty of the essence, the way Krishna has progressed through Bhagavad Gita. Why? That is the importance again and again. Even yesterday when I shared that one with you, between the two Vidwans who were talking about the Gita Jnana, Ananta Shastram is there in our scriptures. But in all of them, Gita is its speciality. It sits on the highest pedestal because it comes directly from Paramatma in that condensed form. And Krishna himself, that is, even as a Paramatma, Sriman Narayana himself, he says, I am functioning this whole world with the Gita Jnanam only. So the Gita Jnanam is going to be reflected a lot also in this particular chapter. And this chapter is, though being a very difficult one, in the sense that it can go into a very high depth. Some of the shlokas in this, the people who have traveled with me in the previous classes, we have one shloka we took for at least, I think, 12 classes. That is this third one, Kshetragyam Chapimam Vidhi, because the Bhashyam went to such a level. In fact, it was during the COVID time, if many of you remember Yatish Bhaiya, Shankarji, that we used to have every day. So that I used to put it in a PowerPoint and send it, but that's okay. So in this class, though it's a challenge, I'm sure we can all get the knowledge That's a very important thing to get from this particular 13th chapter. And it has got, today we will also see some practical applications which I've sent you in a PDF form, which can be very much required for all the sadhakas, irrespective of the stage one may be in. There is nothing like a relative stage. So let us get into this chapter now. Okay, so the in the three main parts we saw from the 7th chapter was that apara prakriti. Why I'm coming to that is because it starts with prakriti. That is why I wanted to kind of draw your remembrance, your memory back to that prakriti. So in the 7th chapter, when we saw the jnana vijnana yoga, Bhagavan had that prakriti into apara prakriti. Just I'm going to that, the 8 parts of that transcendental creation, transactional creation, sorry, the 8 parts of transactional creation for the purpose of all living beings, by which we enjoy, for the enjoyment and for executing our karma. And that apara prakriti is all that trigunatmika maya, in the maya realm, right? That apara prakriti is what Bhagavan will mention here as kshetram. So the only thing, the words are different. The concept is same, but because he has to bring this word kshetram so that he can bring the unification of the kshetram and kshetragya. So now we understand why the asi part comes. So the kshetram here is equal to the apara prakriti. And that apara prakriti is the maya rem. Okay. And the para prakriti, which we said, right, by which the whole apara prakriti is sustained, and that's the underlying baseline foundation framework which encompasses everything. That para prakriti is what Bhagavan will say as kshetragyam. So these two words here, Arjuna asks, okay. So in this chapter, some places this Arjuna Vacha is there, some places it is not there. The reason is this shloka, if you take this one, including that, it becomes 701 shloka, this 13/1. If you do not have 13/1, it is 700 shlokas, Gita. But that's okay. It has become a sampradayam now. Everybody uses this 13/1. So it's fine. So the 13th chapter starts by Arjuna himself. And he himself is asking, what, oh Lord, what, Krishna, Mere Bhagavan, what is this prakriti and this purushaha? So he's asking 2 questions. What is prakriti? What is purushaha? And what is kshetram and kshetrajnaha? Etat veditum ichami. And 3 more, jnanam jneyam. So there are 6 items, 6 elements, which are the referential words in this particular chapter, by which this unification of asi is being established from different contexts. One is prakriti and purusha, prakriti purusha. Okay, then kshetram kshetrajnam. Then other one is jnanam jneyam. Jnanam means knowledge, and jneyam means that is to be known. Knowledge and that which is to be known, that I wish to know. You understand? So this whole chapter 13, taking this into context, Bhagavan wants to establish the truth of the connection between them about to. So just do not only get absorbed in this difference of the words. Our essence is to get into the connection between both of them. The thread between both of them. For example, why the then establishment is required? Why the establishment of connection is required? Why the asi is really required? Because we have seen also, for example, say in the chapter number chapter number 12, right? The chapter number 12, shloka number 7, Bhagavan said, Tesham aham samudharta. And those, the bhaktas, I uplift them. Samsara Sagarat. From this Samsara Sagarat, I uplift the devotees. And then in the chapter 12, he gave lot of the, if you can't do this upasana. Otherwise, do this. If this also you can't do a karma paratyaham. So, he went through lot of other sequence there. So how by giving this ultimate knowledge of truth, so Bhagavan does this upliftment by giving this upliftment of truth. So that is one of the main thing that Bhagavan wants to also establish, this particular connectivity between what is this knower and what is the known. And in the previous chapter also, we learned about all the dharma or the quality of the Jnani Bhakta. Right from the shloka number 13, Adveshta, Sarva Bhutanam, Maitra Karuna. In that, we saw that is like the highest goal, that everybody can imbibe those qualities into our character, so that we become fully qualified to learn this ultimate knowledge, right? So here in this chapter, which we will see that Upasana, that, the one that I sent you, there Bhagavan gives the step-by-step Upasana. Meaning to say, simple methods for which the qualifier becomes adept, and qualifier becomes really capable of imbibing those qualities to become a Jnani Bhakta. So the main thing Bhagavan wants you to do is to uplift you easily to a Jnani Bhakta. So we saw that Arti Bhakta, Artati Bhakta, everything. So we are all the time, oh Bhagavan, every time I'm only asking you something, what is this Jnani Bhakta I want to do? So Bhagavan gets you to the Jnani Bhakta mode. So that Bhagavan wants you to get that moksham achirat, meaning to say at the soonest, without getting this, using this every minute that we are given this body. That is the Bhagavan's kindness and compassion through which Bhagavan wants to here introduce that. So having Arjuna asked what is Kshetram Kshetragyam, and again, as the stamp mark of Lord Sri Krishna, he doesn't beat around the bush. Like, when we saw, he immediately says, Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram Iti Abhidiyate. Iti Abhidiyate means that somehow this way, the Iti Abhidiyate means uphold the knowledge. Uphold the knowledge what? This Shariram Arjuna is the Kshetram. So Kshetram means, what, sometimes we say, I go to Varanasi Kshetram, Ayodhya Kshetram as a place. But the ultimate Kshetram is this body, this human body. And that's what Bhagavan says, hey, Arjuna, this, your body, this one with which you got, that is the ultimate Kshetram. This. And that when we say body, it's a whole body-mind complex. Your body, your mind, your buddhi, ahankara, everything put together. Bhagavan will give you that also in this world. And then, so this Shariram is the Kaunteya, is the Kshetram. And also, if you really see, Kshetram, in a field, what we do, we not only plow the seeds to spring, you have to really, toil the soil, right? You have to plow the soil, remove all the rocks and make it very soft, make it nourished, nourish the soil, and then you sow the seed. Then the sprouts will come. So the upasana in this one. So kshetram is the one where you plow. So where do you really need to plow for the knowledge? Your own shariram. What is meant by plowing? Plowing means getting rid of the making yourself conducive, being nourished for that seed to grow. Otherwise, that is why we feel, every time we learn certain good principles, then we say, oh, I'm not able to apply that, means the kshetram needs to be plowed again. And that plowing method is what that we will see today, the upasana. And that's what Bhagavan says, Etatyo vetitam praguhu kshetragya iti tatvidaha. So the people who know about kshetragya, Bhagavan says that the people who know about the kshetra is what, that's what they are saying. Bhagavan says, Etatyo vetitam praguhu kshetragya iti tatvidaha. People who knows that tatpadartham, people who know that Ishvara Tattva say that this is the Shariram. That's the statement from the that particular second sloka. And I've also explained you that Prakriti Purusham. That's fine. So also the kshetram itself, there are four important way we can take it. Shankara says one is kshatatranat. That is, kshata means, kshaya means what? Everything that depletes. Kshatatranat means it has got the self-protective nature from destruction. This body is known as kshetram because kshatatranat, kshata means it has got its self. There is a lot of, so many times there is a creation happening in every one of our body. That is why it is so. The words itself has got. So one thing is because it has got a self-protecting nature from destruction. This tool by which we are born is, and to which we uplift the samsara, is called kshetram. Second meaning, ksharanat. But it still depletes every minute, every second as we speak. So ksharanat, it is also known as ksariram. And then kshayat. Kshaya means like the moon which waits by wear and tear. By wear and tear, it is also depletes. So it's also known as shariram. And like a field where we sow the seeds, which I've told you, these are the four meanings by which this body is known as kshetram. And so by the mere knowledge of the above, will anyone be able to how truly get the knowledge? No, says Shankara. So the next shloka, Bhagavan says, no, just not knowing the kshetram. He says, kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata, kshetragyayor jnanam, yattat jnanam matam mama. So Krishna says, not just knowing this kshetram, that your body is that, or the body mind complex, but it is also that kshetragyam chapi, cha api mam vidhi. This one is the beautiful asi. This is what we call mahavakyam. These are all. This shloka is one I said we took about 10 classes to explain, but I will try to explain to you in this particular chapter in a very simple manner, which we all will be able to comprehend for sure. Okay, so what Bhagavan says, kshetragyam chapi ma vidhi. This is the most important. Who is this knower of kshetragyaha? Is Lord Krishna himself, Paramatma himself. Ma vidhi. Ma means me. Who is saying this? Bhagavan Sri Krishna is saying. So Sri Krishna is saying, this knower in sarva kshetreshu, in every living beings in this world. Especially the Jivatma, that Narajanma, that as a human being we have got that extra intellect than anything else born in this world. So that means the Bhagavan's that kshetrajna pravritti is the utmost in this human being. And who is that knower? He is also the Bhagavan, Mam Vidhi. It is not anything separate. So as we are trying to know, all of us, about the kshetram. See, you are trying to know about kshetram, so you are all kshetrajna in a way, right? But there is a difference between this kshetrajna and that kshetrajna that we are knowing, right? Because we are trying to know the kshetrajna from a transactional reality. Once we have got the absolute knowledge of that one, then we are all kshetrajna. So once we have got that absolute knowledge of this kshetra, when we all become the kshetrajna or we attain moksha, that level, that kshetrajna is who? Nothing but Paramatma, Mam Vidhi. And he is the one in every kshetra. So, thus by knowing this concept that both the kshetram and the kshetrajna are both Ishvara. This another thing also we must understand. Kshetrajyayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. It is just not only the knower of the kshetram is Bhagavan, the kshetram also is Bhagavan. Only thing, it is a upadhi. Upadhi means because of the different context that we have got different sharira, different mindset, different buddhi and everything. But even that is Bhagavan. So what is there in this one? There is nothing but Bhagavan. So that absolute unification is what Bhagavan is establishing this 13.3. And normally, When we say about these things in a lot of Upanishads, we call what is called Triputi. Triputi. In anything, we call Triputi. Meaning to say, when we are now trying to understand Bhagavad Gita, okay, there is a knower. Knower means, say, for example, Devina. There is a knower. And that is called, let us say, that is your, that is one knower. Okay. And then something is to be known, right? The tattva. So the knower, the known, and the knowledge. So what happens now when we try to learn something? Oh, the knowledge is something that I want to know. So knowledge seems to be separate, because if the knowledge, so there is a gap. There is a knower, there is a known object, and there is a knowledge. The knowledge is the string by which you're going to know, right? The knowledge is a process. So what we are now trying to do is, there are a lot of knowers now in this class as we are doing. And there is a process of knowing, which we call as the knowledge that we are trying to grab in our buddhi. And there is an absolute knowledge, which is also, we think it is separate there. But in essence, by this particular shloka, what Bhagavan says, that knower, the knowledge, and the known, all are none but one. Okay, so this becomes a bit confusing, right? Very easy. We can even take this example from a transactional reality. Say, for example, every one of us, we can see everything in this world, right? But can you see yourself? Can you see yourself? You cannot. You can only see a reflection through mirror. In a mirror, there is always a parallax error. That means, by my naked eyes, how I can perceive everybody in this world, everything in this world, I cannot perceive myself through my own naked eyes, right? Because the seer, the seen, and the seeing is all one. The seer, what you want to see yourself, how? With my eyes. You can't see, because I can't see. Whatever media, you take a photo, you take a mirror, everything has got a parallax error. Some error will be there. There will be some error of in the knowing. Similarly, apply the same principle in knowing about that Paramatma who is in every one of us, which is that Atman. So the knowledge which we are trying to seek is from the Atma who is giving you that energy to know. So the Atma trying to know this through this buddhi, which is an instrument, mind, which is also an instrument, how can it know itself? Because that's when what happens is, you come from the process of negation. Neti, neti, neti. There is one process by which then you come to say, oh, this Atma, what I'm trying to see in everything is nothing but me. Similarly, how I can't see my own eyes. And for me to know this particular one, that's why Bhagavan says, Kshetra Kshetrajnayor Jnanam. That process of knowing that Jnanam, that is the absolute knowledge, is my Matam Mama. Matam Mama means that is my absolute opinion, or that's my absolute teaching. You understand this one? So in this one particular, for example, only one. So there, what happens in the typical Bhashya when we go and say, there's a lot of objections which we call Purapaksha. And there'll be something called Uttara, meaning to say some answers. And by that only, lot of things they try to establish. And I've got that in a PowerPoint, which I will send it to you at some after this class as well. There are about 23 objections and negations, and then it goes about that. And the 23 ones, I can send it to you. But that's what then establishes from different angles. So, for example, it will say, if the Ishvara is the one in this particular all the body, then the and that there is nothing else except that one, then how can he, to whom does the punya and papa goes? So similarly, some questions are all risen. And the Shankara clarifies all these ones, objections, to saying that even that punya, say for example, even if, because I put this down, that punya and papa is also only in the transactional realm to this body and mind. Because when you have a punya and papa, who suffers or who gains the pleasure? It is only through this body and the mind. Atma does not get that punya or papa. Right? If the Atma gets a punya and papa, the Atma becomes a samsari. Then the Bhagavan who is in everything becomes a samsari, which is not possible. So like this kind of a logic he takes into every other examples, and he established the truth in Shankara Bhashya. But for us to simply know, as I have said in the transaction reality, that as how I cannot see my own eyes through that, and because the seer and the seen object and the process of seeing is just the same, that we have got no doubt. Similarly, from that example, transpose that into the Atma Jnanam. That this Shariram, which is a Kshetram, and the Kshetrajnaha, who is in all of us, the one that is speaking now is a Kshetrajna Bhagavan, one that is listening to is a Kshetrajna, and the knowledge that we are going to get from there is also is that Kshetrajna who is nothing but the Bhagavan. And that absolute knowledge, which is the Jnanam, is the Bhagavan. Matam Mama, that Jnanam. And to get that Jnanam, again Bhagavan then goes a little bit more in dispelling the Kshetram first. So are we okay so far? Without having much doubt. If you have any doubt, ask me, because it's important that we dispel any doubts, because I'm sure you will all have some doubt in any other context. If you have, let me know.
Okay.
You can raise your hands and yeah.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Devinaji, Sashi Bhaiya, you're okay? Okay. Okay. So
Good,
now,
Babuji.
okay. Oh, sorry, KKG. Sorry. I didn't see your name. Yeah. Because it I wish I could really have gone from the second time, but due to shortage of time, because I have to do, I am doing this. That is why I have to kind of do between in this particular rush. But I'm not rushing. Do not worry. Though a lot in my mind, I don't want to plant than any other doubt. But when it comes to you, please um, ask me. That's not a problem. So, as we all, so tat kshetram yaccha yadrikcha yat vikari yatascha yat sachayo yat prabhavascha tat samasena meshun. So Bhagavan says samasena means in a synoptical manner. So in synoptical manner, Bhagavan wants to explain the kshetram. What is this kshetram? And the kshetram is vikari. Vikari mean savikari, meaning to say that gods, that is the one that is subjected to lot of changes. So the kshetram, and what is its prabhava? Prabhava means how does it manifest? Prabhava mean how is this manifesting with the different powers of seeing, knowing, with a limited adjunct, right? Prabhavam is all having the limited adjunct. That samasena meshuno, and that in a condensed form, listen it from me. And that he says, Rishibir Bhaguda Gitam, Chandobir Vividai Pratak, Brahma Sutra Padaisheva, Hetumadbir Vinishchitaihi. To Bhagavan gives you only the bit of an kindle the interest in you, the hearer. Krishna praises the eulogy of this particular knowledge as well. And he says, Rishibihi Bhaguda Gitam, Chandobi in normally mean Veda. And how does that Veda Saram has come in the Brahma Sutram? And why Bhagavan brings Brahma Sutra means Brahma Sutram is also, see, in our Prasthana Traya, we got Prasthana Trayi, very, very important in our process of knowing. That's why Bhagavan is bringing. Now, the Vedas and Upanishads, they are sit in the topmost pedestal. That pedestal is called Pramana. Pramanam means authority. Then the Brahma Sutra becomes the logical pedestal. Now, Gita, Bhagavad Gita combines both. That is the logical plus the application into the through karma yoga and everything. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is the third Prasthanatraya. So Bhagavan is, see how he is, otherwise, this is the first time Bhagavan is bringing Brahma Sutram. There is a reason behind Krishna bringing Brahma Sutram, because he wants you to understand through logical steps. The logics have been well established in Brahma Sutram. So Bhagavan says the logic has been well established in Brahma Sutram, Arjuna. But this particular war scenario, I am not going to go through all the Brahma Sutram to give you this Asi knowledge. But having said that, know that all these things have been, when they say Rishibihi, by Vyasa and Vasishta and everybody, so many other Rishi has told, revealed them in different one, and that has been taken in a logical manner in Brahma Sutra. But Hetu Madbir Vinischitahi, and that has been well established there. And that's what I am taking as authority in a condensed form, and I am giving you. That's the essence of Bhagavan is saying that one particular saying, that upasana to how it comes through the logic, Bhagavan says. And again, that particular kshetram, he is now coming into the essence, says Mahabhutan ahankaraha buddhiravjaktamevacha indriyan dashaikam cha panchachendriya gocharaha. Then again, ichadvesha sukam dukkam sangadas chetana dhritihi etat kshetram samasena savikaram udakritam. So this chapter, shloka 6 and 7 condenses that synoptical knowledge of kshetram. So the shloka 6 and 7 condenses the synoptical knowledge of kshetram, and that Bhagavan says that is a savikaram. Yetat kshetram samasena means in a synoptical manner. So what are these ones? We'll quickly see. Okay, Mahabhutani. Mahabhutani means, when we say Bhutam Panchabhuta, right? The 5 subtle elements. Right? The 5 subtle elements of all the earth, wind, water, fire, everything, space, right? So that 5 space is, that 5 Mahabhutani is what this body is composed of. Panchikaranam, you might all known about that, right? So only thing is that is in Akandakara Vriddhi, that is called Mahabhutam. In this one, it's a Panchikarana Bhutam, by which I am having this, I'm able to get a form by which an identity represented by anything in this living or even non-living insentient, they are formed out of the Mahabhutan. So that is Panchabhuta is one of the 5 subtle elements by which his gross body has formed into Kshetram. That's important. And Ahankara. There is a consciousness, relative consciousness. Here when I say Ahankara, it's a relative consciousness. That so ego by which I can have an identity and I can have an execution. Every kshetra executes by that Ahankara. In that Ahankara means that transactional relative identity, that which I own this Sharira. When I say own, I have the complete executorship or executor. I'm the chief executor of my body. So that is Ahankara. Then Buddhi. That how is he then equipped? Is managing director is a Buddhi. Buddhi is like the managing director who does all the things for you to get everything, for you to assemble this, and he is a complete one. Okay, and he's got the self-discrimination, the whatever we are now learning, everything goes into that managing director Buddhi. And Avyaktam. When we say Avyaktam here, you just take it as the unmanifested creation or the Maya in this context. In that, everything, the Maya Prakriti, everything will come. That, for example, your mind, your even ego, everything goes into that Avyaktam. That is an unmanifested creation Maya in which you are able to function. You're part of it. And Dasha Indriyani Dashaikam. Dasha means 10. So the 10 Indriyas, the 10 Indriyas are the 5 Jnanendriyas and 5 Karmendriyas. Meaning to say 5 organs of knowledge, which are mostly in this in the top or in our face, which is the 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the 2 nose, the mouth, and the skin, by which we feel the sensations everywhere there. And the 5 organs of actions, which we know, right? The 2 hands, the 2 legs, your genitive action organs, and the anus, and the mouth, by which we again do eating. Okay, so this 10 together becomes the 10 indriyas. And Panchachendriya Indriya Gocharaha. Meaning to say, Indriya Gochara. Indriya means that particular 5 organs by which this external objects of taste, touch, smell, sight and hearing, how it is able to go and perceive them, right? Go unto them. That is the Indriya Gochara. And then apart from that, because the Indriya Gochara is going outwards and transacting with the real from the external part of the world, then what do I get? Icha, Dvesha, Sukham, Dukham. Icha, something I like. The mind takes all the registration. I like this because the Indriyas are able to Gochara means they have gone into that external world, conceived that one, and then what it puts the imprint in the mind. I like this Icha, Dvesha. I do not like this. Why? Because the one that I like, it gives me sukha. The one that is dvesha, I don't like, becomes dukkham. Nobody wants dukkham. So that kind of a happiness through this relative reality by which we perceive this, and Bhagavan says everything is sanghatas chetana dhritihi. Dhritihi means that is how this whole thing is glued together. And by gluing of all these factors together, functional, non-functional, and functional, non-functional, plus inert, everything put together in a relative and all the context, that Bhagavan says, Etat Kshetram Samasena Savikaram. Savikaram means this is the composite mixture of, or the source of elements. There are about 24 elements. All these ones put together is the one, you take it as the Shariram. Then, now, before we get into the Kshetrajna, and know the difference between Kshetrajna and Kshetram is where Bhagavan is preparing the quality, because up to this is very easy to perceive. That's why Kshetra Bhagavan finished it in very quickly in 2 slokas, because it's easy to perceive. Either you put 24 different texts, one will say 24, one will say 18, one will say 32, that's fine. But as far as you understand that complexity of very easily perceivable, Kshetram is perceivable easily. But Kshetrajam is not that easily perceivable. So Bhagavan wants you to prepare the seeker for that tough one of knowing the Kshetrajam, and he is giving us this particular, starting from this shloka number 8, from Amanitvam, Adambitvam. And they are the beautiful teaching, very unique in Bhagavad Gita, in this part where Bhagavan brings the Upasana into a very applicable, practical form. So that's why I sent that PDF document, which we will share and go through that one.
Babuji, I just sent you 2 questions on the chat.
Oh, okay. 1 second. I'll see that one. Yes, only Papa and Punya is only attached to the body and not the soul self. Then is the theory of Prarabdha Karma false? No, it's not. It's not. Because the Prarabdha Karma, when we say, it is just the karma when we come into the theory. Yeah, there are 3 of them, right? Prarabdha Karma, Sanchita Karma, Agami Karma. That's fine. So the karma and the karma pala again is also attributed to the same body, mind and intellect. Yeah. So it is attached to, but only thing, different body. The next janma will be different body. But this, your mind and the buddhi, the sukshma shariram is the same sukshma shariram. Only Bhagavan reset your memory into the new body.
Right.
You understand? The 15th chapter, Bhagavan will exactly say, see, the same Sukshma Sharira only, we have traveled through so many bodies, right? The gross body of this Mahabhuta Nahankara, this Indriyani Dashaikamcha, only the Indriyani Dashaikamcha and the only thing that changes. But your Ahankara, Buddhi and everything is remaining the same.
Mhm.
So only the relative identity keeps on changing from one body to another body. Because the relative identity keeps changing, the Papa and Punya keeps circulating.
Mm-hmm.
But the Atma is a supplier for all these ones who is just facilitating this for you to know and then shed
All this.
this any more body to come. But unfortunately, by putting the action and sowing more seeds for karma through enjoyment, we take another body.
Mm.
And if the self are part and parcel to the supreme self, why are we trying to attain unification across many births? We are not really attaining to get into unification. That's a very good question. Because the unification again is a Maya.
It's all right.
Because there is nothing separation. When there is no separation, there is no unification. The unification is only a kind of a relative sense that we think as if me and that Paramatma becomes one. So it is only a Alankara word. There is nothing called unification, truly speaking. That is why we said the Triputi is one. The unification comes only when you think the knower, the known, and the knower is different. But we are saying they are all one.
Right. So there's no such thing as moksham in that sense. Yes.
If you think unification is moksham, there is no moksham.
Okay.
Yes. If you think unification is moksham, that something that I will attain or something that I will apnoti, that something that I will achieve, that a state, a new state I will get is a moksham, that is not moksham.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying moksham is Maya.
Mm.
But the way you conduce that, conduce, or the way you impose the knowledge on moksha is Maya. Moksha is absolute. And that's the
Right.
knowledge. You understand?
Okay.
Babuji,
Ah,
may I say
yeah,
something?
yeah.
No, I'm just only referring to what Krishna Kumar is asking.
Mhm.
He says, if I can read that Papa Punya is only attached to the body and not the soul. See, the Papa Punya, when the body dies and takes another body, life one, life two. Baba, I remember your chart that you put last in the first class. The Sukshma Sariram, it is attached. Your Papa Punya is attached to the Sukshma Sariram. This
Yes.
is Stula Sariram. Body is the Stula Sariram and it drops. And then there is also Karana Shariram. That is something, the cause
Accumulates
of
everything. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the self and part of parcel of super. We are, see the philosophy is slightly different. The self, part and parcel. See, if you take Advaita, yes, the unification, because your different, God is different. But in Advaita principle, when you say Aham Brahmasmi, there is only one. Ekam Sad Vipra Bhaguta Bhavanti. See, there is
Yes.
only
Yes.
one entity. So
Yeah.
the unification, it is not a sadhyam, it is a siddham. Sadhyam means something to attain. Siddham is already there. You have got to you realize that. I mean, it
Realize it, not
working.
achieve it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the realization again is the way that to know that is the realization again is an Alankara word, right? Because the closest word that we can get into that one is the realization. Mm. Again, when we say realization, it's that's why we say self-realization, meaning to say it's a kind of absolute reality that is perceived in the sense, again, perception is, we should not take it through the five organs of a normal perception.
Right.
So what happens is, as you know, that is why it's called knowledge. See, the knowledge, for example, whatever you know, yeah, your knowledge, what you know, can you really give that knowledge to somehow to me? You can only explain the knowledge through some medium, but the knowledge is really not transferable, right? Because
Yes.
knowledge is not an entity, it's not an
Mm.
object. So only in your heart of heart means only you know what that knowledge Even if from a real, even if that is what I'm saying, even from a relative context, the knowledge, what you know or what you have absolutely, no one can know except yourself. Even from a relative knowledge. So when that knowledge, in whatever sense you now have, when that ripens to itself into the factor that when you know, aha, this particular Atma and that Ishvara, that aham, what I've been identifying, when all this relative identity, that everything is shed, then there is only an absolute quietness and peace, and that's when you say there is no, you won't even be able to reveal. You won't be able to reveal. Then that what we call as a realization. Then afterwards, all this other relative entity becomes, you know, it is only an imposed reality that in which that particular Jivan Mukta is functioning. And that's what we call as a moksha, which happens as a Jivan Mukta, as in this particular life itself. And that we also call, in a way, aparoksha anubhuti, meaning to say, paroksha anubhuti means, for example, yes, Shani, Shashi Bhaiya.
Babu Bhaiya, I just understand from all this, just correct me whether my
Haji.
understanding is correct or not. That's the only question. What very nice question Krishna Kumarji put. So, Sukshma Shrira and Sthula Shrira and Atma. And so, Sukshma Shrira is the one which is attached to all the karma phala.
Yes, and the Karna
All the
Sharira.
Papa Punya.
Yeah. And the Karna Sharira. Karna Sharira.
And Karna Sharira.
Yeah.
So ultimately, once this knowledge is attained, that means my Sukshma Sharira is dissolved now.
Yes.
It's no more. It dissolved into the same Paramatma.
Yes.
So Atma anyway is one.
Yes.
It's not different.
Yes.
My Atma and your Atma, his
It's
Atma, every Atma is the same.
Yes, absolutely.
Only thing is, yeah. So because of the consciousness only, we are getting to know the knowledge. The being conscious only, we are trying to do that.
Yes,
so
that's
consciousness is nothing but the Atma or
yes,
self.
That's right.
So that's
absolutely.
all. Thank you.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
very small understanding. Thank you.
No, correct. Absolutely correct. Very simply put together. Thank you so much, Ji. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, all of you.
Okay. No, it's good. That's what this our group discussion also helps us in this particular journey. What about you, Yatish Bhaiya, Devina Ji? Are you okay?
Yes, Babuji. Good.
Yeah. See, this is what even Swami Dayananda Saraswati, that's what he used to say. For example, he used to take a camera and he'll say, can a camera really take a picture of itself? Even that's a completely inert object. A camera also cannot take a picture of itself. Right? You can only take it through a mirror, but that's not the truly itself. Right? So similarly, same thing. I cannot see myself. So similarly only, I cannot really know myself as an object because I am the knower, I am the knowledge. And that comes only as we progress through this particular Upadesha. Okay. So the following, shall we go into this discipline? Yeah. So we at least finish it in the next half an hour. So these classes may take 1.5 hours, but please bear up with me. So the 20 principles what Bhagavan has given through these particular shlokas are beautiful, very nice. So that's why I won't go into the shloka, but whereas we will go into each one of them. And I will also refer the Bhashya from wherever it is. Thank you, Krishna Kumarji. Thank you. Okay. So amanitvam. When we say humility, what humility Bhagavan defines is maninaha bhavaha, meaning to say, manina, that self opinion about oneself, right? That is, it could be good or bad, or in whatever that is. Shedding that is what's called amanitva. So not to be first is, before we have any judgmental over others, let's not judge ourselves itself. So, meaning to say, it is important to judge so that we can correct our course. If I have done some wrong, I better know, okay, fine, I've been probably, that's a vivekam though. So the vivekam, and to correct ourselves, we should not impose that particular bhava onto ourselves and say, oh, no, 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 I think I have been. So whether it be because when we put ourselves in a lower pedestal, we will again put us into a higher pedestal. So that manina bhavaha, to removal of that is what Bhagavan says is amanitvam. And that brings automatic humility. Then only the knowledge it creates a vacuum for him to know. So that's why this the seeker, the first one is amanitvam. Have an open mind, that and have that particular humility to know that particular is called amanitvam. Then adambitvam, devoid of boasting about oneself, in the sense swadharma prakriti karanam dambitvam. See, Bhagavan says, see the persons who are rascals and all, they've got a damba, that's different. But for a true seeker, because he is in the path of seeking the knowledge, so he is only helping the seekers. That other person who may have, for example, you can say Trump has got so much of dambitam. One of the biggest damba purusha, if you want to see, nothing but Trump, right? You can, a living example, where damba prakati karanam, it's okay. He's a nice man. Let's just leave him there. But having said that, he's not interested in moksha. But here, Bhagavan, why he says Swadharma Prakatikaranam Dambitva, means the seeker, when wanting to know, he says, yes, I want to do the dharma, because dharma charanam, if I want to do. But then Bhagavan says, yeah, as a seeker, that's the time you will also have damba. Today is Sunday, I've got up one morning, I did this. So your virtuous qualities and religion, in religious, spirituality, everything, that you think it is, when it is helping you, it is also planting you some dambam. So Bhagavan says, at this time, as a seeker, be careful about that. And there also Manina Bhava comes. For example, we put lot of, that's why I'm going the practical examples. We put lot of, sometime, oh, this every Friday I must do this, or every Sunday I must do this. But one Sunday you cannot do it. Do not blame yourself and say, oh, how I've been so lazy. How am I going to get this knowledge if I'm not? So don't have to, put your own self down or up in same thing. Swadharma prakatikaranam as well, dambitvam, swadharma condemnation as well. Oh, I have not been doing dharmachari. Do not worry about it. Amanitvam, humility. Next time, please, Bhagavan, make me more disciplined. That's enough. So swadharma prakatikaranam is one of the main impediment for a seeker. That's what I wanted to say. Swadharma has to be very silent. And see, that is why we are also, if you can see in the practical example, right? See, that's the inherent nature of in every Sanatani Dharma. That is why we are not the people who go and want to do the Dharma Prakatikaranam by going in the street and doing the namaz or anything like that. It is for those religion people, for them, you just see that even from the Hinduism and other knowledge. Hindus peoples are the one least of Swadharma Prakatikaranam. You look at the other religions in the world, maximum Swadharma Prakatikaranam, they are the one. So you know the difference. And so it is inherent in us. That's what I wanted to tell you. That Swadharma is so much up to you that keep it for the moksha. So that's what Swadharma, that is what is called Adambitvam in the context of this Gita, especially. Ahimsa, which we know. Ahimsanam, praninam, apidanam. That is the one we know that causes any pain to any one particular person. That one is called ahimsa. It could be verbal, it could be mental. Again, in Papa and Punya, there is a beautiful shloka that it says, I will tell you in half shloka what is Papa and Punya. Paropakara Punya, Paropa Pidanam Papam. Meaning to say, Paropa, for others, whenever you see that is a beneficial, you do, that's Punya. We don't have to keep on doing, on the Friday, if you do this in the morning, take a river bath, and then go and do this with a wet cloth. That's all secondary. The Shastra says, as far as that particular action you've done is going to be beneficial to even one person, that's a punya. As far as the action you do is going to be, what can I say, hurting to other person, that's called papam. So the ahimsa, other one, whatever we have seen, that's not ahimsa. This is particular is the ahimsa from the Gita, that we need to know that as far as I do beneficial for others, that is what is the ahimsa. That's one called ahimsa. And Kshantihi. And again, ahimsa from a sannyasi is very, very higher level. But from our level, if we create this much, is very, very good. And that's by both kayaka, vachaka, manasam. That's by bodily actions, by speech, or by mental, even the thoughts. And Kshantihi. Para, 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 aparada praptau avikriya. Okay. Para, aparada. Meaning to say, forgiveness and not seeking, reacting ever for another, if another may cause an offense to you. Krantihi, meaning to say, Kshama Karna, Kshama, forgiveness. See, this is the beautiful one, the Krantihi is the one, is a beautiful medicine for any removing of Dvesha. For any, if you have any dislike to any person or any object or anybody in anything in this world, the minute we do the forgiveness, that dvesha goes. So Shanti gives you that peace of mind by giving that peace. The Shanti give you Shanti. Because aparada praptau avikriya, that even if somebody has said the other may cause, I am not going to give any offense to him for that one. That is Shanti. And then Arjavam. Arjavam being straightforwardness. Rujubhava avakratvam. Meaning to say honesty and integrity with oneself. If I'm being honest and integral with myself, then I would certainly be doing it to others. Meaning to say your alignment, a synchronous between your action, your thoughts and your words. If that is exactly what it is, without any hidden motive and anything, that's what's called arjavam. And then Acharya Upasanam, Acharya Upasanam, that ultimate guru, which we all take for our particular life, and that Upasanam, because that moksha sadhana upadeshtaha acharyasya shushrushadi prayogan sevanam. What it says is, whatever that particular guru who teaches us this ultimate Atma Jnanam, whatever that, and to do the service and get his, and I tell you, without a guru, knowledge is not possible. That guru is the one who is going to give you that aparoksha jnanam. And that is the beauty of guru. When we said, if you have not seen a mirror, you have not seen your body. The minute you see the mirror and you show, oh, this is my body, then you do it, right? That ultimate. So we all have that same thing. Oh, when will I know myself? That will be revealed by that acharya. That guru is the moksha guru, I'm saying. That guru, in everyone's life, there is a guru somehow comes. Bhagavan is giving you that. The only thing is we don't identify that guru. The minute that guru shows you that particular, he knows when the seeker is ready, he reveals that, what can I say, the curtain between that, the known and the knowledge, then the whole thing is revealed. Then afterwards, there is nothing to be known. So that is why the Acharya Guru, and for us, the Guru is only a living Guru. A book cannot be Guru, an object cannot be Guru. For us, the Guru has to be a Sakshat living Guru. And that is why only to that Guru you can do the Sevanam. Not just to some book and everything. Okay. So then Shaucham. The cleanliness, both internal and external. So, because why both Bhagavan says in the external, this is also, I tell them very, very nice from the Gita. See, these are all practical things. When we all ask about practically how can we do, there is in the Gita Mahatmyam, there is one beautiful one. See, whenever we do a shower and have a bath and everything, right, we clean this external body. But for the internal cleanliness, what Bhagavan Mahavishnu says, the Gita Shravanam and the Gita, even the Parayanam is a beautiful ones for cleaning. So what I do, I know I've been practicing this. That is why I'm telling you for the last maybe now 17, 18 years. Every day before I go to, because many people want to even by heart Gita. This is my working example. I'm trying to tell you. Before going to shower, keep the Gita book. Take one sloka, or even one word. Say you have taken this 20 of them. Take one sloka, this one word. And then while having the shower, keep chanting that sloka. Amanitam, amanitam, or amanitam, madam bittum, ahimsa, kshanti rajamam, acharyo, apasanam, shausham, sthairyamatma vinigraha. Keep on chanting this. Then that, because this is Mahavishnu's own vakyam. He says, by that, even your internal cleanliness happens. So Shaucham, so Antar Shaucham is beautiful. One is Namam, Bhagavan Namam, and then also like along with the Gita Snanam. So what happens? You do a Gita Snanam as well. So in that both the Buddhi, because what happens at that time, you will think about it. Yes, oh, yes, this is the way. Because see, as such, when we say Rama, Rama, Krishna, Krishna, it certainly gets internal purity. But along with Gita, when you do, you also try to perceive at that time the knowledge. It will tell you, oh no, but he said this book said this. As soon as, so that is why I found that it is very useful. So that is what I was trying to tell you about the prakshalanam of the shaucham. And then stairyam. Sthira bhavo moksha marge eva kritadyavasatvam. That is, Dhairyam means, that dhairyam we say, right? That is being firm and strong in the path leading to moksha with conviction, without giving them up, even if faced with any difficulties. Let's not budge one bit in that particular. Sometimes this could also be taken as, yes, because when you are completely convinced, you can take that one. But sometimes you have to put a hypothetical statement. Hey, I am doing this practice. I am doing this one. Yes, I am feeling certain time. I may not have completely felt it, but let me do my complete justification to this hypothetical statement of my practice. And let me give it a full effort. And then take a decision. So until then, be firm and strong. Apply the principle. So that's what Bhagavan wants to say. Stairyam, sthira bhavaha, moksha marge, in the moksha marga. And then atma vinigraha, meaning to say, Atma vinigraha means that control of your own body and organs in the discipline of liberation. And this is all the Ashtanga Yoga helps in this particular one. Very much Ashtanga Yoga. Atma vinigraha, one of the beautiful one is the Ashtanga Yoga, right from asana, pranayama, and the mind control. There is nothing like pranayama for the mind control. And so Atma Vinigraha, lot of things from the Patanjali Yoga Sutra is a beautiful one. When you can study that, do that, that helps you in the Atma Vinigraha, that particular yoga. And then even that meditation, everything, that's very, very helpful in the Atma Vinigraha. And then Indriyarteshu Vairagyam. That is in the Indriya Artha. Indriya Artha means external object. So the Indriyas, they go, that is Indriya Gochara, he said, right? The Kshetra. So they are all the time going in the outward thing and telling you, distracting you, right? In the distraction. Because though you have the Vivekam, that this particular thing is not good for me, Say I've got diabetes, but I really like a sweet, and you really see Badusha after a long time. I'm just telling you from my own example. But then you see, अरे यार वो एक बादशाह तो खाएंगे, you know. Well, if you can, but have that stop at that one. That kind of I'm just telling in simple one, right? But the viraga bhava, that viraga bhava, end of the day, I'm not going to get any pleasure out of this. So why should I even indulge in this particular one for any of the five senses? The main thing is, as we grow old, one of the last thing we can feed is mostly the tongue, right? So the tongue is the, because if you really see all the other, I can go a lot in that. You might have seen from a lot of people. The tongue is the closest one. And so even though as we grow old, we can't do much with other organs, it at least says, "Acha kuch swad bhojan to do." But then that 2 inch of the tongue may probably, control the whole body. But everything in the whole indriyarteshu vairagyam, in that drishta adrishtesu margeshu. Sometimes, even for anything that unseen benefits, even in that, because there are only certain things in all of them, having the vairagyam is vairagyam, because the vivekam, when we don't have a vairagyam, we go back to the vivekam. Viveka means the discriminative knowledge that brings us the vairagyam. And then anahankara. This ahankara bhavaha is the egotism. Adambitvam and anahankara, both are almost the same. The only difference here is there it is very external. Adambitvam is prakatikaranam. It is purely from registering something, and somebody has to say, you are देवीना जी क्या भक्तिमान है, मैं देखा तो बस देवीना को रूप देखे तो बस माता को देखा, अगर ऐसा बोलेगा ना, then देवीना, oh my God, I'm really good. That is from an external one. But ahankara is very much internal. Sometimes we feed our own ego, internally. So this ahankara bhava comes lot from internal feeding ourselves. So that should not happen. That's what Bhagavan says. Anahankara. Ahankara bhava comes not from internal egotism. That internal one from that elevation is anahankara. And janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha anudarshanam. This is a beautiful one. So the janma, the birth, the mrityu, the death, jara, the way we get aged, vyadhi, diseases, we don't have to say, right, and dukkha, any sadness, grief, dosha, meaning to say any flaws, anudarshanam, meaning to say see the continuity in all of them, that they are all of a temporal effect. Like, go back to what we said, say for example, chapter number 5. Yehi Janma Dukkha Yonaya Evate Adyantavanta Kaunteya Nateshur. That Bhagavan said in chapter 5. He said, whatever we enjoy in this one, everything is got that flow. It is not being pessimistic view. That's very, very important. But look at the flaw in them, that how they draw you again and again to come back to them. There is nothing like a perfect happiness. There is like a perfect one that we linger into this one. And look at the flaw. Anudarshana means look at the anu means always, have a view. Okay, this is kind of these are temporal. This has got a ending. This has got a beginning. So let me not worry about it. That kind of a thing about is what is called anudarshanam in this flaw, so that the samsara vairagyam becomes even more greater. That's when Bhagavan also is going to uplift us. So again, here I explain more into each one of them, but you can read it as I have given you more in detail in this one. And asaktihi. Asaktihi means normally sakti means attachment. Somebody, asakti means too much of attachment. So asakti means absence of the attachment, because the attachment comes. See, there are 2-3 ways this one take shape, right? Indra, one is when we do not have, I need to have it at least some more. Until that, there is an attachment. Then once it comes into their hand, the attachment, this should not now go out of my hand. It should somehow, I need to keep it. So in that attachment, the closest one that we are all attached to is own putra, dara, grihadishu, or you can say your daughter, your husband, wife, put it in reverse, everything. In that one, the more and more we withdraw from this, the more and more the moksha sadhana becomes very, very easy. And this is the closest one where it attaches us in this world. So that is why Bhagavan says putra dara grihadishu, or putri pati grihadishu. You can put it either way, and that's one is the one Bhagavan says in the asakti. Okay, now next one I will go. Sorry, I'll just quickly finish this. Give me only another 10 minutes. Okay, then anabhishvangaha. Abhishvangaha abhavaha, devoid of extreme fondness. See, even though we show the fondness and everything, the emotions is the basic factor that it is sowing the seeds, right? So, the identification with this pleasure and some sorrow, okay, for example, he's very clear, he says, Acharya, yata अन्यस्मिन् सुखिनः दुःखिनी वा अहमेव सुखी दुःखी च जीवति मृते वा अहमेव जीवमिति मरिष्यति. Okay, the previous one asakti and anabhishvangaha, the difference is in this one what happens. Often we say, okay, fine, I'm not going to be that attached, but I'm going to be so involved. I'm going to be only living my life for others. Say, for example, you have a sacrificial. Then what happens when that other person is going to be unhappy, especially our own son or daughter? Then you think, oh, I'm now more unhappy. It's not for my sake. It's for my son's sake, or for my daughter's sake, or for my husband's sake, for my wife's sake. So that particular one, Bhagavan wants you to not attach to that one. So do not impose your happiness and unhappiness through others' happiness or unhappiness. And they are a big obstacle to the jnana. And there are in the histories, there are a lot of ones where big saints themselves get attached to a small deer that he was growing. You might have heard all of this. So this one, anabhishvangaha, means abhishvanga abhavaha, that devoid of extreme fondness to another one, and putting the imposing your happiness and sorrow on somebody else's sorrow. That is anabhishvangaha. And then ishta anishta upapattishu nityam cha samachittatvam, that have an equanimous mindset on obtaining fruits, that because fruits are always will be either of ishtam or anishtam. The fruits will never be without having a every action, because we are doing continuously action, and we have done a lot of actions in the previous janma, in this whole birth. Also, they will bear the fruits. And when the fruits hit us, the fruits will be of these kind of types, whether it be a good fruit or a bad fruit. In all of them, have that feeling that Bhagavan, this fruit has come. Now, please, you handle me to handle this fruit as well, because Paladata, you are the one. I leave it to you. Please do not make me get caught into this fruit. And we very easily get caught into the good fruits only, because they are very tasty. Bad fruit, we somehow want to get out of it, and that is there. But the good fruits, in all of them, have that equal aspect of keeping our steady balance in the moksha sadhanam. So that is what nityam cha samachittatvam, that equanimity, that comes only by practice, when especially starting from a good fruit when it comes. Mayi cha ananya yogena avyabhicharini bhakti. So this is a beautiful one for a ananya bhakti. Okay, I will slowly read this and then give you this. Apritak samadhina na anya bhagavataha vasudevat paraha asti. Ataha sahaeva na Sahaeva naha gati. Naha means of us. Okay? Or mama. Nagati, don't take it as nagati. Na means no. Here naha. You see the visarga? Naha means our. or mama gatihi iti evam nischita abhyabicharini buddhi. That is being continuous, you see, because we are all we cannot be totally emotionless, we cannot be totally free from devoid, because we are human, we are got a mind, we are bought with the emotions, and even sannyasis have got emotions. You have seen everyone, right? So what Bhagavan says, if at all you are angry with someone, get that anger also unto me. Don't worry, I will clear with you. And if you really want to show that kind of a love and affection, show it on me, because I will end of the day release you from other ones. So that is what Bhagavan says. Anya Bhagavataha Vasudevat Paraha Asti. Na Asti. Na Anya Bhagavataha Asti. That is, apart from Bhagavan, there is nothing else that for me that it is going to be where I can send my emotions. If at all I want to put that emotions even to others, I take it through you, Krishna. I take it through you, Vasudeva, through Paramashiva, Bhagavan, Jagadamba. Through you, I take it. You take it to others, but I am not going to get caught into this particular ones from the one. So that's the Ananya Bhakti that Bhagavan says to devote, which becomes easy for a moksha sadhaka to get into the moksha sadhana. Then Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. This is a beautiful one. This, see, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa keeps on saying this in all his teaching. They need to say, that is why we also have, when we are at this age, we are all supposed to be in the Vanaprastham. Vanaprastham means to go into forest, meaning to say you reside in a place which is devoid of any impurities. And that then next thing is Aradir Jana Samsadi, meaning to say these places, the least we expose, our mind gets much made conducive, because it is like this, when a plant initially growing, you put a small, like a smell fence, so that the goat or something will not eat it until it grows. Once it grows, then you can remove it. But until the spiritual seed is being sown and it is growing in the earlier stage, the more and more we try to have a reclusion or particular, okay, this is my time. The loneliness, that loneliness, if you see, that is why great Mahans even, they do not want to be in the companion all the time. The best time they love is this, when they are all alone by themselves. So inclination to reside in a place which is devoid of any impurities, basically purifying them with holy water. And also this holy water mantra, all of them, and that is why people used to go in the for those kind of places as well, So banks of holy river, temple, that are conducive for japa meditation. But in these ancient times, in our home itself, wherever we do, keep that place which is so purified, because you are the one who will purify yourself in a way. So your asanam, your daily place of prayer, keep that one as the most closest to you, and that brings a more and more of the moksha sadhakam easy. Then Aratir Jana Samsadi. Aratir Jana Samsadi means not being in the crowd of people all the time, in assemblage of people. Some Jana Samsadi means crowd, rush hours, So because in those one, the enjoyments of material pleasure takes more, the distractions are more. So that is what Bhagavan says in these ones, assembly of, but whereas a satsangam is very good. But whereas the basically he's saying, don't party too much. Very simple. Don't be a party animal. Just have avoid too much of crowd. If at all that be so, let it be in a kind of a satsangam, because satsangam say nisangatvam. So that's very important. So Aratir Jana Samsadi, how do I practice it for doing that? Satsangam. Satsangam becomes a very good source for getting the Aratir Jana Samsadi in that taking. So we will not take delight in the other type of the crowd in the where we dwell. Then Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. That steadfastness, that this firmness, this alone, this knowledge is what is important for me. This knowledge of Atma, because I have got a complete conviction that with this one is the one that my jiva, this body has taken, and in this uh, janma that I have taken, whatever age that I am in, I want to take full use of it for getting the knowledge in this very birth. That particular nitya, anitya, that particular firmness in that one, and nitya anitya vastushu, that is the seeing the flaw in the object in this one. What is anityam in everything? Then the nityam is only you, the happiness which is inside, because that one is called the viveka jnanam, nitya anitya vastushu jnana pravrittihi. That's what is called viveka jnanam. That viveka jnanam is what is called adhyatma adhyatma jnanam, and that one is the nityam, and that kind of a nischitvam, that is by slow progress to say that, look, this is the absolute knowledge that when I get it in within me, this particular one, that gives me the nitya sukham. And sukham, if at all I get, it is only through that atma jnanam, that slowly developing that, practicing that, and getting that one is the one that Bhagavan says will displace the from the anitya vastu. From anitya vastam, anitya vastu means the impermanent objects of enjoyment in the external world. And tattva jnanartha darshanam. Tattva jnanartha darshana means, for example, the tattva jnanam, Ishwar tattvam we saw in the last 6 to 12. In that tattva jnanam, that that particular the atma jnanam, in that one anudarshanam. Anudarshanam means in that again and again contemplate. And when we get more and more of doubts, as KKG was asking, those are good, because the doubts are the ones to tell you that you are learning. You must get doubts. I mean, it's okay if you get doubts, but whenever you get these doubts, that's when you know there's a self-inquiry happening. The self-inquiry, the tattva jnanartha darshanam, when we say darshanam, it's really a swadarshanam. It is your own. That is what is the constant retrospective cognition into yourself. Am I really this body? What is this body? Another 10 years it will be there. So why should I? I am not this body. This gender itself, I am not this gender. I am beyond the gender. I am beyond this particular relative identity. That, what is that one? What happens to that? How come this has come? Keep on questioning this. And who is questioning this? Who is really enjoying this? Is it really the body enjoying? Or if the body can really enjoy it by itself, there is somebody else. So this kind of like one of the greatest Mahan which can give you the self-inquiry is Ramana Maharishi's teachings as well. But having said that, there is a lot in our Gita itself. Because then you come, oh, chapter 10, Bhagavan says, Aham Atma Gudakesha. That means, Krishna, you are the Atma. So why should I now doubt? You are the one. So you tell me. Again, it goes to Ananya Bhakti. You see, this 20 composite knowledge, they are all related to one another. They don't operate just on one by itself. That's why I wanted to take this 20 together. When one gets a bit kind of repetitive, that it's not going anywhere, go to the other one, then that gives you direction back to here. So that is why Bhagavan wanted to say this whole 20 of them is a jnanam by itself. They are not only, that is, the upasana margam itself becomes a jnanam. So because the upasanam, because the practitioner, the practice, and the whole, so you can also bring the Triputi into that one. That's the beauty of these teachings from Sri Krishna Bhagavan through this particular Bhagavad Gita. So that's why I wanted to kind of go into each and every word of this one. And the more and more we contemplate on this, the more and more we get and then bring the other places where all we have read Gita into this one. Like, chapter 2, chapter 5, and every other place, like, even chapter 7 and everything, then the whole composite knowledge makes more and more meaning. And as I said, that knowledge, as it takes a more and more shape, it's only you who knows it. And that's when you start relishing and more inquiry into that, the more and more confident we get. Confident in the sense that the thairiam, that yes, this is the one. I'm not going anywhere else but get this knowledge in this particular birth. So with that, I will finish particular upasana one, stop sharing. Any doubt, Ji, so far? Sorry, this time a little bit longer became the session.
Oh, thank you very much, Babuji. It was very nice.
Okay, Ji.
Thank you.
Okay.
Babuji?
Babuji, I
Aji.
want to say one thing.
Ah.
Krishna Kumarji, there is something which I want to share with you because you
Sure.
asked the right
Others too.
question, and others, of course. See, there is a book called The Value of Values by Swami Dayananda Saraswati.
Yeah,
It's
it
only
is
a
in the.
100-page book. I don't know. That will be a
I
lovely book
am.
to have. You
Yeah,
have that?
Shankarji, I have mentioned it in the chat.
Oh,
Ah,
right.
see?
Jesus.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. That book may be, Krishnakumar, if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want, the book may be available in Divine Line Society or Ramakrishna Mission. I can check it for you if you want.
No, this book is available from Arsha Vidya.
Arsha
Yeah,
Vidya
All
is
the
yeah.
books,
India.
Arsha
See,
Vidya.
Arsha Vidyalaya is India. That I know.
Right.
That is where you will get. But if you want
Here
to
in
get it
Sydney.
in Sydney, you you can try in Divine Life Society, or maybe I can check